right, there we go. That's as fancy as we're gonna get with our intro. We're still learning. This is a process that we're all going to enjoy and learn together. Welcome to Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast. I am your host, Dave West, codename Phantom Troublemaker.
And I'm your co-host, Noel Wood, codename Crapshoot.
And I am your Cobra intern who's changing his passion for glory, codename Legion Cub.
Oh, wow. Passion for glory. Well, I certainly hope we can help you fulfill your passion with this podcast, because as we all know,
Target isn't.
The podcast live stream business is absolutely the way to glory. That big money. Hoping for the Ace Pumpkin Cider sponsorship any day now. Welcome to our, third live stream, I think, and we are now making it a regular event. We will be doing our news episodes live here on YouTube. And I would like to remind you that you can get yourself one of these fancy AI Pod shirts. We put the links up in the Instagram stories and throw them up on Twitter from time to time. So check that out. I'm sure there's a way to put a link up during a live stream, and we'll figure it out someday. Matthew Comstock here watching Cobra. Thank you, Matthew. Good to see you here. This happens to us a lot where we kind of start closing in on the recording date for our news. And we're like, well, not a whole lot of news, because we knew we were going to have the 1027 event to discuss. But that didn't really give us a whole lot, did it, fellas?
No.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
But that's okay, because we can make mountains out of molehills here, or mountains out of mole rats,
yeah,
as the case may be. But we do have we've got a decent amount of stuff to talk about this evening on our live stream. And everybody watching, share this link, tell your friends about it if you think, hey, they might be interested in some G.I. Joe information from three charming fellas. Then send them our way. All right. Needless Things YouTube channel, you're here right now. Tomorrow, my review of the Retro Stinger goes up. Last week or the week before, I've done a lot of reviews over the past month, lots of spooky stuff, but then a bunch of Joe stuff hit, so I had to kind of work the Joe stuff in amidst the spooky stuff. So my review of the Megatron Hiss Tank, which, Noel, you got today, correct?
Just got mine like 3 hours ago.
And what do you think overall? Yeah, you said you haven't transformed it yet.
I have not transformed him. I just put the accessories on the robot. Haven't even opened the Baroness yet. But yeah, I mean, overall, he's a fantastic looking toy. A little fumbly in some places. He's got some joints that in robot mode at least kind of flop around a little bit that I'm going to have to get used to. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to transforming him and getting him in a nice pose on my shelf.
Don't look forward to that.
I got to do it at least once. At
Yeah.
least once.
Yeah, I was overall pleased. I get why it's the way it is, but I do wish the gun could have been larger somehow. But overall, it's still a great toy, and as we've talked about on the show before, this kind of thing was a dream toy. When I was a kid, I wanted Transformers big enough to interact with my Joes so badly. And now we've got one, and with another coming very, very soon.
On the way.
Yeah.
Yep. And who knows what the future holds.
That's right. In the Retroverse.
Make that happen.
Also here on the channel, I will be reviewing Tiger Force Outback. That review goes up on Thursday.
They do exist.
They do exist, just not in America. I got this guy from Star Action Figures. That face is incredible. And I'm actually kind of curious as to how it's going to look with the red hair, because he's very wizened and weathered. Like the gray hair really fits the character. So I'm curious to see what the red hair version looks like. But since we still don't know what the heck is going on with Target, I bit the bullet and I paid the price and ordered from an overseas store, like I said, Star Action Figures. And full disclosure, it was $47 American. That's shipped. So I really wanted this figure. The Python Patrol stuff, like I want, but it's not. It's at, well, if I never find it, then I don't get it. I'll be disappointed, but whatever. But this guy was like top of my classified series wants list. So I decided, you know what, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to order it and not have to worry about it anymore. Ordered on October 21st. He arrived today. So that's 11 days from order to arrival from the UK. Meanwhile, Target is almost 11 days past a year. So yeah, no news on that, but you can check out the review of that guy on the Needless Things YouTube channel right here. I also want to point out, oh man, we've got tons of comments. And for anybody watching for the first time, I want to mention to you guys, there's a delay. I've got the YouTube right next to me here, but there's like a significant delay, like not quite a minute, but more than 30 seconds between what you're seeing and what we're doing. So always give me just a second to check out the comments over here. Matthew Comstock, I got my Stinger last week, haven't opened it yet, cleaned up my original about a month ago. I'm interested to see how the new one stacks up. And that's, you've got one up on me there because I don't have an original Stinger right now, so I wasn't able to do a side-by-side like I like to do when it's an option. Sam Elliott as Old Man Outback, you're not wrong about that. And then Kevin Riddle, my Stinger is coming tomorrow. Looking forward to getting it, as you should be.
Yeah.
I was very pleased with it. Okay, so I've mentioned to you guys before that it's sometimes tough for me to do my research and stuff because, of course, the great bulk of most of our internet usage happens when we're at work. And my job has put so many blocks and stuff on the internet. I can't get to Yojo anymore. I could never get to 3D Joe's. There's so many sites I cannot get to now, but the one site that came into my mind that I remembered the other day, I was like, oh, let me check this out and see if I can still get to this one, figurerealm.com. Now, it doesn't have as much information as the other sites, but as far as if I need to make a list or I need to find a year or whatever, then it's still a resource I can use. And it saved my life on a couple of the segments we've done over the past couple of weeks. So I wanted to give a shout out to figurerealm.com. It's not a perfect list of the history of toys, but you can start an account there and create a checklist of what you own and what you're looking for. It has the ability, like you can check off what condition what you own is. So if you want to upgrade, you can have one that's opened, slight wear. If you know you're looking for a mint in box, like it's actually a really great website. It's not organized the best because it's an older website, but as far as just having a wide breadth of resources for toy collectors, it's a good site, and there's nothing else quite like it. Have you guys ever checked that one out?
Yep.
I haven't used it, but now I'm checking it out right this moment.
Used it today.
Yeah, if like I said, if you open an account, you can actually create a checklist, and it's unlike some other sites, it's free. So you can just inventory your stuff and know what you're looking for and what you have. So this was an interesting piece of information. Let me make sure I'm current on the comments. Okay, we're good. Interesting piece of information here. So the Hasbro Pulse, have you guys noticed that the website, if you go to the regular website on your desktop, has different functionality from the app? I just noticed this maybe last week, a couple of weeks ago, that you can now sort your orders. They have filters set up to where you can look for crowdfunded, pre-orders, standard, and canceled in your orders. You can search your orders with keywords, and you can also filter by fulfillment status, fulfilled, unfulfilled, and partial, which is a game changer because, as I've told you guys, I've got my list of pre-orders that I keep in my phone, and with Pulse, I always had to list the numbers, like the order number, because it was so difficult to search through your orders and find out where what you had ordered was. But now you can just go in on that. You still can't do this in the app, but you can do it on the desktop. You can go in and put, Slaughter and find your Sergeant Slaughter order immediately. it's fantastic. A great upgrade that has been a long time coming, because I've often felt that Hasbro was being a little squirrely about not letting us search our cancelable pre-orders. You know what I mean? Like, let's make it difficult for these people to cancel their pre-orders. And now it's very easy, which is good, because so far this year, I would say I've canceled 75% of my Pulse pre-orders.
Really?
Wow.
Some other retailer, now I'm not including Pulse exclusives in that.
Yeah.
But anything that's not Pulse exclusive, some other retailer gets it first every time. Usually Amazon or Big Bad.
Yeah, I mean, I've always sworn by Big Bad, but ever since getting the Pulse Premium membership, I feel like I have to, even if I have to wait a couple more weeks for the product, it's so much cheaper to get it from Pulse.
And that makes sense. And really the only reason
crappy. Oh, sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, the only reason I'll go with Big Bad, because Big Bad's just the $4 shipping. Although they do have a markup on the price.
Right.
But I want to get reviews up as soon as I possibly can. But if that wasn't a factor, I'd wait for Pulse every single time.
Yeah.
I just had crappy luck, because there are figures that I've pre-ordered through Big Bad that you guys were posting. I mean, I think I waited a month after Storm Shadow had shown up on Pulse, and then finally was like, I'm canceling my Big Bad order. Like, even now, with, I think I told you guys, like, my Crimson Guard came in super early, and I waited. Yeah. Tomax came in. I still no notice that Zaymont has come in. So just today, I was like, well, let me go in and cancel this because he's on Pulse.
Well, let me tell you my current situation with G.I. Joes and Big Bad. Sergeant Slaughter came in stock at Big Bad last Thursday, and today he shipped to me and is on his way. So I canceled my Pulse pre-order for Sergeant Slaughter. Although I do still kind of want to get another one in box just to have it. He does conventions around the Southeast pretty regularly, so I would like to get one signed, depending on what the box is going to look like, which I guess they probably got pictures on Pulse. Anybody who's watched my toy reviews knows I don't look at much ahead of time, because I want to do that unboxing, and I want to open the shipping container and have a fresh experience. So I don't do a lot of checking things out beforehand if it's something I know I want. And obviously Sergeant Slaughter is an I know I want. Matthew Comstock, I've taken to keeping a spreadsheet for all my pre-orders. It's exactly what I do. I've got a list in my phone of everything I've got pre-ordered, the date that it was pre-ordered. Some I have the arrival date, some I, like with Super 7 stuff, I don't even bother putting the expected arrival date. Kevin Riddle, it's sad to keep a spreadsheet for pre-orders. I'm up to 43. Matthew says, I'm an accountant, though. This is the way. You have an advantage. Although the fact that there is a toy collecting accountant out there is kind of mind-blowing. Do accountants have accountant? Does your accountant approve of your terrible, expensive habit?
I can say I'm not surprised at all that an accountant would be a toy collector.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. The numbers would be fascinating, wouldn't they? So yeah, Pulse website got a pretty decent upgrade. It's much easier to deal with now. So let's talk about, we've already talked a little bit about Tiger Force Outback, but let's talk about the issue with Outback and the first two Python Patrol figures. The first thing that strikes me is the fact that I have now approved 6, because I haven't canceled my Tiger Force pre-order yet. I don't understand canceling pre-orders that you haven't paid for. Like, just wait it out. There's no reason to say, well, I'm fed up with this and cancel the pre-order. I mean, yes, it is a matter of principle, I suppose, but leave the pre-order in. If it ships, it ships. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I've still got my Outback pre-order, because I think once my son saw the figure, he was like, oh, I kind of wish I'd gotten that one. But I have now approved 6 delays on that thing. I think everybody's pretty much in the same boat that has it pre-ordered. But the weird thing is, I haven't had to approve a delay for either one of the Python Patrol figures. And I don't believe anybody else has either. What's that all about?
With the Python Patrol, there's not been like a date per se. It has always just said coming soon. Whereas the Outback has always, every time, once we started getting the email messages about, oh, the expected delivery date or whatever has changed, please approve this. There's always been some kind of range of dates. That's what I'm chalking it up to.
Huh. But they, with Outback, they keep giving us a range of dates that are wrong. I mean, they clearly have no clue what is happening. And I mean, I can't even speculate at this point because, for a while, I felt pretty confident that they were holding stock to make sure they had things for the holidays, but they've been putting out other exclusives left and right. Star Wars, all the gold label stuff from DC Multiverse, Marvel Legends, like everything. It's all just been going out on the shelf. So I don't know. We have no answers. We can just say that Target is not too concerned about G.I. Joe fans, which is why I'm not news.
It's why I'm not upset because I was not so concerned about the Tiger Force and Python Patrol figures to begin with. So I'm not stressing about all this. Thankfully.
Oh, well, aren't you, Mr. Fancy Pants? I'm just saying that guy.
I chose wisely.
Yeah.
It was funny in the beginning, but then what was it? Just the last week when we got 2 changes, like within 3 days, then I was like, okay.
Yeah, a couple came in pretty close together, and it was like, all right, come on, guys. So yeah, no idea what's going on there. But as I said, I ordered my Outback from Star Action Figures, and these will 100% show up, and I think they were made in big quantities too, because as we saw, Hasbro learned their lesson with Cobra Island, because those got offered over and over again from multiple retailers. They made plenty of them eventually. So I can't think that these were underproduced in any way. The only question now is, when do they show up at Ollie's?
Well, some of us don't have Ollie's, so...
Well, right, and some of us do have Ollie's, but they never get these insane quantities of the AEW figures that showed up at Ollie's, where people were finding like 10 Chase figures in one lot. I never saw any at any of ours. So even if you have Ollie's, it may not do you any good. All right. Let's see. Well, and that's a good point. Matthew brought up, he only canceled his Target Outback pre-order. He still has it at Pulse. I don't know why I didn't order these first 3 from Pulse. And my suspicion is that last year at this time, I had just given up on Pulse getting anything in a timely manner. And I just thought, well, I'll just order from Target, because while this delay thing does happen from time to time, I have never had anything not show up from Target. It has all eventually shipped, because I order a lot of the WWE Legends figures from them, and they all, I either find them in the store and cancel the pre-order, or the pre-order ships. But I've never had this kind of issue before. So I think on October 21st or 23rd of last year, I felt pretty confident that Target would deliver these, so I didn't bother ordering from Pulse, which was my dumb mistake. Much dumber than canceling a Target pre-order. Okay. Next bit of business, call sign Longbow. Everything closes November 15th. So if you backed it and still need to finish your backer kit, or if there's stuff that you wanted to pre-order, you can get on the Call Sign Longbow website, and you've got until November 15th to put in your final order for the Call Sign Longbow stuff. And I'm very excited. This is, it's right around the corner, really. It's just a few months away from seeing, these products, which I realize as we get older, I can't believe it's October. It's November. It's not even October. It's November now. And I feel like we were just talking about possibly doing the Hiss HasLab live stream. And that was a long time ago.
In August, early August.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. A little follow-up from our last episode. For anybody who listened to our Halloween episode, and if you didn't, you should do that. We had a lot of fun with it. KB Jodographs on Instagram just happened to put together some great pictures of what we talked about, and nothing to do with the episode. He had not heard of us. He has now, and requested a link to listen to the episode. Just happened to put together a little custom funhouse diorama with Airtight and Dusty and the Cobra Commander's balls floating around. And it's fantastic. It's great. So everybody go check out. It's KB Jodographs. That's JOE Tographs on Instagram. I think he's on Facebook as well. Channing Sherman brought this to my attention. And it's awesome. And it's just one of those zeitgeist things where we kind of share a pop culture mindset as Joe fans. And I think these things just kind of come around in a weird way sometimes.
And it's just, and that image is so iconic. As soon as I saw that, I was like, because of course it's in the closing credits of the cartoon. You get to see this big Cobra Commander balloon. So I was thrilled to get to watch that episode again before we did our Halloween episode, so I could remind myself of it. And great to see this fun art project as well.
Well, what's funny is when it got brought up, we were discussing it, and I didn't realize until a little ways into the conversation, like, oh, this is why this seems so iconic, is because it is in the credits, which we discussed. Let's see here. Matthew Comstock, I know too many people who have had their Target pre-orders canceled involuntarily. I've heard of that, but and I'm sure it's happened in other ways, but almost every time I've heard of it, it's because they missed one of the emails saying they had to approve the delay. In general, I don't think Target just cancels stuff without letting you know. And I think a lot of times an email goes into oh, really? Have you guys both had that happen?
Well, if you have a credit card that you had to update and it's on file, they'll cancel your order without warning you.
But which is terrible. It's lousy. But
I was reading today that it's not even when they go to charge your card, like when the item comes in.
No, it's They
will put a hold on it when the item is close to coming in.
Right.
Yep.
So there's no warning from them saying, hey, we're going to be charging you in X amount of days. Please make sure that your payment method is updated.
Well, and get this. Do you guys remember a few months ago, I told you, I guess Tiger Force Duke is coming in soon because I got a notification from Target that my form of payment needed to be updated.
Yeah.
So I went in because what it was, I've got a credit card I use just for junk, my hobby card, and they issued me a new one, and I just hadn't updated it at Target. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll go in and update that. Went in and updated it, and then that was the last I heard of it. But as you said, in general, when that happens is when the product is about to be shipped, because that's what the email said. It said this product is about to be shipped. You need to update your form of payment. And I did, and then nothing. Obviously, it has not shipped. The only people that have gotten Tiger Force Duke with the RAM, which I still say they should have given it a cool tiger name, is, as far as I know, a guy who reported a defect to Hasbro with, I think it was the 2 Ninjas set. And they sent him that as a replacement. I don't know what's going on with any of this.
It's probably an upgrade.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, it's 100% an upgrade, because that Blue Ninja set is what made me not a completist on Classified series, which has changed things a little bit for me, because I can be a little more discriminating with what I do and do not purchase. Okay. How many henchmen are you all buying? I'm getting 6.
Wow.
Henchmen. As far as
from Call Sign Longbow.
Call Sign, yeah.
No, it's a one of each line for me. There's very little I'm going to troop build. I reluctantly bought a couple more bats when they were down to, what were they, $16?
They were, and I was like, well, I've already got 4, and then I saw the link again in my.
Did you order more?
And then I ordered 2 more. Because
I will
after a little bit of dark and stormy one night, it was a little bit easier to purchase things on Amazon.
That's when it happens.
Yep.
I for over $20, I'm not troop building anything, because if it's a regular 3 3/4 or 6-inch figure, then that price is a little too high. And if it's something larger, I don't have room to troop build something like that. So, yeah, I Call Sign Longbow, as much as I love it, it's strictly a one of each character for me.
Any classified where there's going to be a trooper, I have to get at least 2. There's just no way that I can have one of a troop builder and be happy.
I would love to have 4 of every troop, but I just can't do it.
I've 4 for the ones that I really, really want. 2 for anything like an Alley Viper. I'm happy to get 2, but for the troopers, I had to have at least 4. For the Vipers, I got to have at least 4.
So I feel like for me, it's been strictly 2, but Alley Viper only 1. I'm treating him as like an individual character,
just like they did in
but
Operation Dragonfire.
Seeing, and I know we're going to talk about it later, but the upcoming 2-pack of female troopers, I feel like I need to get 2 more regular troopers.
Well, and we'll talk about it when we get to those.
Yeah.
Next up, Super 7. I know people have issues with Super 7. I love them. They're my favorite toy company. And the Wave 5 of reaction figures got leaked. Oh, before we get to that, though, I got to mention, so I found the Ninja Coup at Target out of nowhere. Didn't know it was happening. Apparently, Noel, you knew about this.
Well, no, not really. I saw, I looked it up and I saw that people had been posting about it back in August. I guess it had been spotted for the first time, but it was.
Did they see it in a store, or they found the listing?
I don't know if it was the listing or not, because I mean, they knew it by name, and typically they won't know it by name unless they see it in person. But I know that like the week that you posted that, I saw a whole bunch of other people on Facebook, and
that's why I feel like they probably found a listing in August, because Target and Super 7 have been really good about making these things hit at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
All of the prior exclusives hit, because remember I think it was the Snake Eyes that the day it was announced, I stopped at Target on the way home and found it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So somehow Target can work with Super 7 really well. I don't know why they can't do that with Hasbro, but whatever. So anyway, Ninja Coup is out there. I'm sure everybody watching this has already found it if you want it, but it's a cool little figure, and it was just funny to me how much it resembles Black Adam. It's all black. It's got golden armbands and highlights. Like, it definitely, I can't
imagine. Good timing on that.
Right. I can't imagine Super 7 was like, that Black Adam movie's coming out, and that Rock is a popular fellow. Let's release a ninja that happens to have that color scheme. But weirder things have happened. I don't know. So Reaction Wave 5, Zaymot, Tomax, Snake Eyes, Junkyard and Mutt, Duke version 2, Raven with a Cobra patch, which I'm assuming means it's the character Raven with a Cobra. Like, it's when I first saw this, I was like, oh, does it come with a Cobra patch? That would be really cool. But I'm assuming it's deco. And then the troop builders are an MP with a brown rifle and a Cobra camo soldier with a laser rifle, version 1 pink. Now, obviously, we know they're usually 3 of each troop builder.
Mm-hmm.
So those are specific ones, but I'm sure it'll be the standard, different skin tones, different weapons for the military police, the G.I. Joe military police, and then the Cobra and camo. So let's go back up to the top of the list.
Wait, well, you didn't mention the red laser, did you?
Yeah.
Well, we were going to get to that because it was the Target exclusive.
Okay.
But we can go ahead and talk about it, because how wild is that?
Yeah, that's the one out of this line I'm most excited about.
Now, explain this to me. I don't know. I know nothing about any of this.
Well, Red Laser was a repaint of the 82 Cobra Commander or 83 Cobra Commander figure that was done for Action Force. But he was part of the Red Shadows, and he's a troop builder, basically. That is just Cobra Commander, but he's in red, and he's got...
so it's not a singular character.
No, I'm pretty sure it's a troop builder character, because they did do a very similar looking figure in the old Red Shadow, like in the old Action Force line, where they were not articulate or 5 points of articulation, but they had the bent arm.
Right.
So that same figure was converted because it kind of looked like Cobra Commander's, body anyway. So they just repainted Cobra Commander for it in Action Force line. So doing that as a Super 7 that's great.
Okay. So yeah, that's cool. I'll absolutely buy it. I don't think I'll troop build it because good Lord. But I would definitely.
Well, you might troop build it. You might troop build it. Well, I guess it's a Target exclusive. You won't, but it still might go on clearance because
it definitely will. The Target exclusives go on clearance before the regular ones do, because I just bought 4 Red Ninjas for $5 something a piece. So yeah, I probably will troop build it.
Yeah.
Yay for Target exclusives from Super 7.
And yay for Books A Million for the not Target exclusives.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I found out I accidentally bought way more Joe and Cobra troop builders than I realized between Joe Fest and Books A Million, because I did an inventory of my reaction figures, and I had a whole box of Joe and Cobra troop builders that I had forgotten about. So I've got about 12 of each now, which is awesome. That's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
So going back up to the top, Zaymot and Tomax supposedly going to be in their suits, which is very cool. And I believe in the cartoon, didn't they had like the almost the Roger Moore James Bond, like the gray trousers with the blue blazers.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm thinking. Snake Eyes, I don't know that I've seen anything about what that one is. Have you guys seen anything?
Wasn't it was it the Commando Snake Eyes? Or I guess they've already done that one, haven't they?
Well, it depends on what they want to do.
Because they've already done several Snake Eyes, and they've done
a lot of Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
A G.I. Joe line with a ton of Snake Eyes figures? No.
Maybe it'll be Boy George Snake Eyes. Who knows?
That would be awesome. Although I would rather, as we've talked about many times, I'd rather see it in a box set with the other characters. But maybe
they haven't done any of the V3, V4 Snake Eyes yet, so it may just be another one in the line.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe it'll be the blue one that I call Hockey Mask Snake Eyes.
Yeah. Well, but everything has been based on the comics or the animation so far, right?
Well, they've done those in the comic. I mean, he was in the comics in those other costumes.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
It's just that we weren't reading it.
We weren't reading it then. Yeah, I haven't gotten that far yet. We've got Junkyard and Mutt, and the important thing to note there is that yes, we do have a Mutt figure, but the dog that came with him is not Junkyard.
Mm-hmm.
So you need Mutt and Junkyard. Duke version 2. Now we don't know if this is literally version 2 of Duke or if this Super 7 is just calling this their version 2 of Duke. But I'm wondering because really all there is
would be Tiger Force.
Right. What else could Duke be? Because in the animation and in the comic, he was pretty much always just the same. Like I can't think of anything else they might do with Duke.
They did show Duke in his in the Deke cartoon and his other later. So who knows? That could be
the desert gear.
Yeah, but there wasn't a lot of variation on Duke throughout the media. So unless they're going away from a media representation,
I can't imagine that. You know what? Maybe it could be something as simple as Duke with the little mind control headband.
Yeah,
I wouldn't put it past them. All right, so Raven with the Cobra patch. Raven is the Night Raven pilot who had to work with
Slipstream.
Slipstream is a completely different character from G.I. Joe After Dark. Slipstream, when they shot each other down, great episode and cool character, and another one that is only Super 7. you know?
Yep.
And then the troop builders, honestly, these I'm probably going to pass on. I didn't buy the camouflage Joes, or I hadn't pre-ordered them. I guess they're not technically out yet, but I don't think I'm going to get the camouflage Joes. I don't think I need camouflage Cobras. The military police are cool because they did factor into the animated show a decent amount, but I can't get that excited about those guys.
Wait till you see them.
Yeah, that's true.
To make that decision.
We haven't seen any of these yet, and that does happen all the time where you see something that's just a name, but then once you see the image, you're like, oh gosh, I gotta have it. All right, moving along. Just a quick bit of news. So, what was you guys' level of interest in the Hiya Toys G.I. Joe line?
Pretty much zero from what we had learned.
Interested, but I want to see it. Like, if they start releasing figures outside of Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes, that is when I'm gonna be.
Yeah, my interest was in the possibility of vehicles, but just the figures themselves. I didn't need another 4-inch G.I. Joe line.
Well, guess what, guys? It doesn't matter what your interest level is because they're not going to be sold in America. Moving on.
Womp womp.
That has stopped us.
Well, yeah, that's true. Tiger Force Outback also not sold in America. So Hiss Tank voting is done for the Hiss Tactician, and I voted. I actually kind of messed up and lost one of my daily votes because it was not one vote per day. It was one vote per 24 hours. So I voted late one day because I thought I could just wait, to the end of the day. And it turns out you have to wait 24 hours. So I got one less vote than I could have. But every single vote I put in was for Echo because I want those silver Kiss boots so bad. What did you guys vote for?
I only wound up voting twice. I did one for Echo and one for the Alpha.
So you canceled yourself out.
Well, I mean, I figured that it was either one of those. So basically, I got 2 votes out of 6 options.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did 2 votes and both went to Delta.
Oh, okay. So we are a show divided. Interesting. Well, I mean, look, I'll be happy with any of them because it's a cool looking figure. But I just had my idea about how it should relate to the rest of the set.
Yeah.
And that was the Echo was the one to me that fit the best. And to be honest, none of the choices were ideal. I think the best option would have been something a little bit closer to Rip It, a blue suit with a red chest and a silver Cobra emblem. That would have been a no-brainer, and I think probably would have won the whole show, but that might be released as a separate figure.
Yeah, I have a feeling that they're gonna get some use out of this mold.
Yeah, right. So, that one I'm sure will be on the way either way. If we get the purple one, I'll be happy with that. I just won't put it with that Hiss set because it does not go. We got a matchy. All right. Real quick. What did you guys think of the fact that it was 1 vote per account per day? So if you backed 5 Hiss Tanks, apparently you only got 1 vote?
Yeah, well, I mean, I bought 2, so I only got 1 vote for both of them, so.
Yeah, I think that kind of stinks. Oh, we've got Matthew voted for Echo and Kevin voted for Bravo.
Oh, look at that. We got
almost
all of them.
I think that's kind of lousy. You only got 1 vote, even if you bought 5. I think people who put out the money for 2 to 5 or whatever hisses should have gotten that many votes, but that's not how it worked. And now it is time to discuss the big 1027 event from Hasbro Pulse that I think our expectations were maybe up here, and it was delivered on.
If you're a Transformers fan, it was pretty high.
Yeah. If you were a fan of anything but G.I. Joe.
Yeah, that's true. Because even the Dungeons and Dragons stuff, like they showed some cool things, although they did not show an owl bear, much to my perturbance.
Well,
because all I want is an owl bear.
They showed the transforming owl bear.
That's not a get out of here with your transforming nonsense. Those do not count as real action figures. That would be like saying, we're not going to make a killer whale, but here's sea spray.
Ooh.
Now, if they want to do the crossover of sea spray as the whale, that's fine. But don't give me a sea spray that big and tell me it's my whale. So they mentioned his tactician vote, which obviously that's over and done with now. They also mentioned probably the best news of the whole thing, although I think all three of us got our orders in for Mindbender and Serpentor. But a lot of people did not get those orders in. And they reopened pre-orders. This is pre-orders for a second production run of Dr. Mindbender and Serpentor. So that's fantastic. It's great. I think it's great that they listen to the customers. I refuse to say listen to the fans, because we are customers. Yes, we are fans, but first and foremost, as far as Hasbro is concerned, we are customers. But it also suggests to me that the suspicion that there would be a regular mainline release Mindbender is probably not accurate.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's any way they do another production run of this one if they've got a regular Mindbender in the pipeline. And on top of that, the fact that his name has not been mentioned in all of this next year's worth of reveals we've got. So I think if you want a Mindbender, I think this is the only one you're going to get. At least until they do like Lab Coat or something in 2028.
So I was very excited when they announced this for the people that still needed to get them.
Yes.
I had false hopes that they were going to run it more like how the Mattel creations have gone. Because if you notice, so the pre-orders went live at 8, and I want to say the next time I checked on it, I'm trying to remember if it was late that night or first thing the next morning, and they were both already sold out.
Oh, that's wild. I didn't realize that. I thought this was more like an open pre-order.
Yeah, no.
Oh.
No, they were still sold out incredibly quickly. So
weird.
I thought, this is, they're going to keep it open, and people that want to order one, you're pretty much guaranteed. And unfortunately, I still know at least 2 people that were unable to get a Serpentor.
Oh, that's a bummer. I didn't realize that because I didn't pay any attention to it at all.
Yeah, and it still had the, limit of 2, and I was questioning, if they had reopened it up and it was still limited to 2, how small or how large?
Right,
and we're never going to know, but what is this production run?
Well, right, and it means they still have a set quantity, which is bizarre, because Mattel,
I would have thought it would have lasted days.
Well, we've talked about before how Mattel has now nailed it with this thing where they have a certain quantity available for immediate pre-order, we'll say, or immediate sale, because I've got my Grizzlor, and then they open it up for pre-orders and just leave it open for a couple of days. And however many they get is how many they make in that second production run. And that's kind of just what I assumed this was. I didn't even realize any of that. Interesting. Hasbro, come on, guys. Step up your game. Get that money. Don't you want the money, Hasbro? Don't you want that money? Pipeline announcement. Chuckles!
Yay!
Who was on my list.
Yeah. Well, it was one of those that we knew it was inevitable. He was on the initial list of Joes that was shown on the website when we first talked about this 2.5 years ago.
Although we still don't know that list means anything, because there are lots on there that.
That's true. We still haven't gotten our sci-fi yet.
Or our sand scorpion or whatever.
Desert scorpion. But we also, I think they've mentioned Chuckles at some point in time in one of these live streams.
Well, and also because of Mike Costa's, run with the comics, Chuckles is pretty high profile to, I think, the modern Joe fan.
Yeah. So looking forward to getting that one. I'm curious as to whether or not they're going to make him a standard, like just use the standard buck, or if they're going to make him a little bit bigger like he was in the animation. Yeah.
As long as he has to have the shirt, he has to have the shoulder holster. Other than that, I'm okay if they want to go with more of a, a slider build, like from the IDW comics, or if they want to do a big, honestly, maybe I would prefer kind of the slight build, because if he's an undercover agent, he doesn't need to be this big beefy bohunk dude.
Oh yeah. I definitely would prefer him. I've always said that Chuckles should be a smaller guy because he's got to blend in.
Just I think I might have said this. Just base him on what's his name from Burn Notice.
Mm-hmm.
That's just do that. That's fine. I'll be happy with that. They did a bunch of giveaways, it turns out, and I entered them all, even the ones I didn't care about, because why not? They did a giveaway for a Sergeant Slaughter poster, a signed poster, which is pretty cool. Slaughter is very generous with his availability, I guess, and his time. Like he's always been good with stuff like this. I've mentioned before, the first time I ever met him was at a managers conference at Electronics Boutique, that he was there. You know what? I realize now, I don't even know what he was promoting. But he was there signing G.I. Joe 8x10s, which I've still got mine on the wall, and just couldn't have been a nicer guy. And this was in 90, 98, 99, something like that. So I really don't know what he was there promoting.
So he was working for WWE as an agent at that point, because he was doing all the stuff with DX. So that was, it's odd that he would be promoting G.I. Joe stuff there.
Yeah, I talked to him very briefly, and his autograph. It's right up there. I don't think anybody can see it. If I duck my head down, right there. So it's him in front of the American flag, and I talked to him a good little bit because nobody else was in his line, and he wrote on the picture, he said, "A WWF fan and a Joe fan, no push-ups for you. Thanks, Dave." Sergeant Slaughter. He was just the nicest guy. But anyway, so signed Sergeant Slaughter poster giveaway, Serpentor giveaway, and then they also had them for Transformers and Star Wars and Marvel Legends. I think they had a giveaway for like everything.
And they had Iron Man, Marvel Legends, and then they had the...
Right, I entered that because I actually want that Iron Man. I love that figure.
And then they had the Alpha Trion and Orion 2-pack.
Yeah, that's which right. I'm still debating whether or not I need that in my life.
I mean, I kind of want that, and I'm getting ready to box up my Transformers, but I still kind of want that because that's just cool.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't have a Star Wars one. I don't know.
They didn't.
We do absolutely, Matthew, need a Hector Ramirez reaction figure. Tommy Throwback, this is just so good live. Hello, dudes, and sup to my guy, Legion Cub.
What's up?
Thank you. We enjoy doing this live. It's a lot of fun. So let's see. I already mentioned that Slaughter's in at Big Bad. Oh, this was another thing that was weird about Hasbro Pulse. So typically what I do is if something comes in from Amazon or Big Bad that I have pre-ordered on Pulse, I'll go into the Pulse app, go in and cancel my pre-order. Well, I went into the Pulse app to cancel my Sergeant Slaughter, and I could not do it. It didn't, you know how when you go in there to cancel or change your method of payment, it's got the little checkbox. You hit the checkbox and it lights up the boxes to change payment or cancel. It didn't have that option at all in the app. But when I went to the website on my desktop, it was there and I was able to cancel it. Very interesting. So just know, for everybody watching or listening, if there's something you're trying to do with Pulse, make sure you check the desktop as well. Don't just assume that the app is the be all end all of your options.
The app just wants your money.
That's right. Because we are what? Customers.
Customers first, fans always.
Yes, absolutely. Noel, you want to talk to us about the Stinger decal?
Yeah, so
conspiracy.
Well, it's just
whatever.
It's not even a conspiracy. It's just kind of an oddity that I never noticed.
Oddities? let's all go to the freak show.
Oh yes, I acquired an original '84 Stinger last year, I think at Joe Fest, but it didn't have any stickers on it. It's in almost perfect condition. Didn't have stickers. I was like, all right, well, no worries. I'll just buy some stickers off of Toy Hacks. So I got those and I've had them with it, but I've not applied them yet. And then when they announced this Stinger was coming out, thought came in my head. I was like, well, I bet it comes with a reproduction of the original sticker sheet, at least something that's very close to it, and it'll be more official. And the Toy Hack stickers have a little bit of a texture to them and they aren't quite as crisp as the official ones. So I was like, all right, well, I'll try that when it gets in. So when my Stingers arrived last week, I unboxed them, I got the sticker sheet out, and then I went to go grab my Toy Hacks one to compare them. And I noticed the Toy Hacks one had a different Cobra logo. Like it didn't have the same number of stripes in the Cobra logo. It was only it was basically like
the abdomen things.
Yeah. So it had, and I should have gone and grabbed it, but I don't know if you can see it on the screen here.
We're still not used to the visual element.
Right.
We'll get better.
So I was like, well, that's interesting. I wonder if Toy Hacks just Photoshopped that to make it work better because they were working with, their printing wasn't fine enough to do it that way. So then I went on to yojo.com and I looked up the original sticker sheet for the Stinger. And sure enough, the Toy Hacks version is identical to the one that's on yojo.com. So I was like, well, I wonder if they just did that with some of the smaller Cobra logos. So I looked and other toys of mine from that era, like the Claw and the Snake, that have tiny little logos, and they have the actual original logo with all of the different lines. So it just dawned on me, this must have been, because there were different Cobra logos and things. The Rattler had the wings and things like that, but this must have been one specifically designed for the Stinger. I don't know how it ties in with the Stinger, but I just thought it was really interesting that I've never noticed that in almost 40 years of collecting these toys.
Well, and there's so many little, and because look, anybody who's watched my reviews knows I don't notice anything. I'm literally just looking to see, is this cool looking? I don't know what this gun is called. I don't know how many lines are on this thing over here. I don't know if this guy is supposed to have a hat or not. This just looks cool to me. So something like this, I never, ever would have noticed in a million years. I'm impressed that you caught this.
Just because I had both sticker sheets out, I was just kind of comparing them, and I was like, oh, that's very different. And I'm actually kind of surprised that with this retro Stinger that they put out, that they did not go for that original look, because they did a pretty good job of emulating the rest of the stickers on the sheet.
Well, it seems like they are interested in making minor upgrades where possible. Because so did your Stinger, I noticed on the missiles, one side of the ID is tampoed on, but you have to put the sticker on the other side. And then on the hood, there's a tampo on that little cylinder.
Well, and I think that
but
those
it includes the sticker as well.
I think those tampos on the missiles, so on the original sheet, they only had 4, so each missile only got 1. So those are just duplicated, just like the one that's on the hood. That sticker's duplicated.
Oh,
so they just put the stickers on there, even though they tampoed them.
But on the label sheet, it does show putting it on both sides of the missile.
Yeah.
So
I thought they just wanted us to have extra fun.
But they also showed you how to put the sticker on the hood that was already tampoed on there too. So that's
very interesting.
Yeah, I noticed that in the same thing when we did the Fang, there were some sticker placements that don't exist in real life on the actual vehicle, and there was a little bit of that to the Stinger too.
Well, I am so proud of my label placement on this Stinger. I think I did the best job of applying stickers I've ever done in my entire life on this thing. Like the headlights and the tail lights are both just perfect in the right places. The everything is lined up on both sides. Like I was very impressed with myself.
I had a blast putting the Stinger together, but oh my gosh, white lettering on a white
Oh, I know.
background.
You have to sit there and hold
was
it up
like,
to your
yeah.
light source and
Like
do
what
this
does that
number.
one say? I
Get the
can't
right
tell.
glare.
Yeah. So yeah, Stinger's awesome. It's just, I love it. I'm glad, even though I guess I'm just going to keep one in the box just because, but I'm glad I went ahead and got two just to do it.
Yeah, same with me. I was like, at that price, there was no reason not to get two, because that, considering that they were going for, similar size vehicles with a modern style action figure, were going for $25 at Walmart. To get that with the O-ring style figure for $8 more was incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. So one more little piece of Outback information here. I was in fiddling around on the desktop version of Hasbro Pulse. I saw the little Hasbro Pulse help icon pop up, and I thought, you know what? Let me give this a shot. So I sent a message asking if they knew anything about the stock of Tiger Force Outback. And this is the message that I received back. Regrettably, we don't have specific details when/if the Tiger Force Outback will be back in stock. We recommend checking back periodically for product availability, as we post back in stock items most Fridays. So that is zero information. You could probably take Tiger Force Outback out of that and put any other Hasbro Pulse product in that, and it's just a form response that they send out. Oh, and thanks for being a fan. You're welcome for being a customer. And now, I can't remember if it was Noel or Kristian. Which one of you brought that MCM London thing to our attention?
That was me.
That was Noel.
Okay, why don't you tell us about this? Well, first of all, how did you find this? What the heck is it?
I was just scrolling through social media that morning, and I actually give credit to Full Force podcast was the one that had posted images from it. And I was like, wait, what is this? We had 10/27 was 2 days ago. That was when we were supposed to get our news. And I saw the slide that had the name reveal Shadow Tracker. Well, I guess we haven't got the news, but I saw the name reveal one first, and then I saw the renders. And so I sent it to you guys, and then about an hour later, they posted another picture. It was an upgrade from the original name reveal slide that had even more information on it. So I was like, well, I guess we have more to talk about when we do this on Tuesday.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're not going to put the slides up because they're from a Twitter user that Full Force lifted. That it's just you guys know how to use social media. You can find these. You've probably all already seen them, so we're just going to talk about them. Shadow Tracker kind of blows part of our next episode. We're going to have a segment where we talk about more top 10 classified wants, and I'm going to have to adjust one of mine because Shadow Tracker was on my list, and now we know we're getting him, which is fantastic. Kristian, what the heck is a mole rat?
I mean, I hear mole rat and I just think we're unstoppable, but good question.
And it's mole rats.
Yeah,
right.
Well, Emily did mention at the show that it was a troop builder, but we don't know anything else. I don't know if it's a Joe troop builder or a Cobra troop builder, but
I mean, it sounds very Cobra-y to me.
Well, and I'm wondering if it's just a placeholder name, like the ones that they use in like Target's inventory system.
Oh, I wonder. Well, but they haven't announced anything else like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's interesting. Maybe they've announced Tunnel Rat by name, correct?
Yes. Well, the one thing people were speculating on is that there was the Mole Pod that came with a figure that was a repaint of Crocmaster.
Oh, yeah, they did do that.
So there's a Crocmaster out there. Who knows? Maybe they're going to repaint it. But
I didn't like that when they did it the first time. I definitely don't want a classified version of that. But I do want a big drill pod.
Yeah.
That's like one of the best toys that came out of 2009.
Mm-hmm.
I've got several of those because there is nothing more G.I. Joe than that tunneler vehicle. It's perfect. It's wonderful. So yeah, mole rats, whatever that is. Renders, we got fantastic Cobra Trooper 2-pack, female Cobra Troopers with this is basically Hasbro Pulse style, like they've done. Well, no, I guess those weren't even Pulse. Those were fan channel exclusives. Like they did the Hydra Soldiers, the AIM Troop Builders. This is very similar in that you've got 4 different portraits. You've got, or I guess 4 different looks, tons of accessories, lots of customization, tons of blast effects. This is a heck of a set, which is going to carry a heck of a price tag as well.
Yeah, I'm thinking 60 probably for the pair minimum.
At least 60. My guess was $64.99, but we'll see. But I think they look great.
Yeah.
I like how, if you notice over their boots, they've actually got like trouser bottoms, so it's not like they're wearing wetsuits. Like they've given a little definition, a little bit more to the uniform. These are cool, and I'll buy, depending on the price point, I'll probably buy 2 sets because I want all 4 of the looks on display. This is the kind of thing where I will troop build a little bit because they've earned it with the customization. So very excited about these. No idea when they're coming out, but the fact that they've got renders means that they're going to be sooner than a lot of the name only reveals that we've got.
Well, and that's like the name onlys that was the name only 3 weeks ago. So that was a really quick name only to render. And the same thing with the other one we were talking about. That's a pretty recent name only reveal too. There's
Big Ben, I think, was in the last batch, wasn't he?
Yeah, there's still names that we got months and months ago we haven't seen renders for.
Oh yeah, interesting. And Big Ben is mostly new tooling, it looks like to me.
Yeah.
He's got a nice thick torso. Of course, the doubled up ammo belts it was always one of the striking things about this figure. He has an appropriately foreign look to him. Like as far as his gear, he looks different from anything that we've seen. I am concerned about storage though. I hope maybe there's a backpack that we're not seeing or something, or somewhere to stow one of those rifles, because he's got a holster for that pistol and the silencer, but I'm not going to have him walking around dual wielding rifles. Like I hope there's somewhere to stow one of those. But I do love the gas mask.
Yeah.
And he's got a cool portrait too. I mean, obviously we've got just kind of a terrible picture here, and Hasbro has not released official renders of any of this yet. But he's got a nice thick looking face. Like, he looks cool. I like him. I'm happy.
Yeah. He reminds me of like he could be like a Daniel Craig or somebody in that role is what he looks like.
He's even thicker than
that.
Yeah, that he's almost
like a Tom Hardy.
Who's the guy? Role. Yeah, Tom Hardy, or the guy that played Punisher in Warzone, Ray
Winstone.
Whinstone.
Mm-hmm.
I can't ever remember what his last name is exactly.
Who, you mean Firefly?
Yes. Yeah, Firefly. Boy, that would have been a better reference for me to make, wouldn't it?
We're only a G.I. Joe podcast.
Yeah, you're right. Why would you mention that? I just love Punisher Warzone and bring it up anytime that I can. So yeah, Big Ben looks cool, and obviously, has the potential for the repaint, an all white Arctic version down the line. Because that was my first exposure to Big Ben, was in one of the late 90s 2 or 3 pack. I think it was a 2-pack, where he was just in the Arctic look. I wasn't even familiar with the character because he came out, long after I stopped collecting.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be interested in that look as well. All right. Well, you guys, do we have any more news? Is there anything else to discuss before we wrap this thing up? I guess that's a no.
Yeah, not that I can think of. So we didn't have a ton of news, but it was nice to get that little surprise there at the last minute.
We had an hour's worth.
For sure.
That's what we had. Our music is, the music that you will hear if you listen to the audio version of this is by Andy Samford of electricminnowmusic.com. You can follow us on Instagram at Audible Interlude Podcast and on Twitter at G.I. Joe Audible. And Instagram is the best place to hit us up. Send us messages, send us corrections, send us things that we missed or maybe didn't get right. We love hearing that stuff, and we'll follow up on the show afterwards. Or if you see stuff on Instagram that maybe relates to something we've talked about, send it to us. We want to see that stuff. Kristian, why don't you tell us a little bit about those pictures you take?
Yes, you can find my photography on flickr.com and Instagram under Legion Cub.
And Noel, tell us about The Finest.
The Finest is an international G.I. Joe costuming group, and we have garrisons and squads all around the world. So if you ever thought about dressing up like your favorite G.I. Joe character, check out the Finest Recruitment Center on Facebook. Check us out if you ever see us at a convention. Throw a few dollars our way because we raise money for a great organization called Canines for Warriors.
You guys, thank you so much for sitting down and talking about G.I. Joe. Everybody watching or listening, thanks for being a part of this podcast and showing your support. Remember, you can go to the Instagram account in the stories and get yourself an Audible Interlude t-shirt. We have 2 different varieties. And as always, yo, Joe.
Cool.